Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Sean and Sax show.
Welcome. So happy you're here.
We're not doing video today, so if you're listening to this, you're listening, and there's going to be a picture that's still, you don't get to see what I'm wearing or what Saxony's wearing, because we're not wearing any clothes.
We're really doing this episode naked.
Just kidding. We have clothes on.
There will be an episode, I'm sure.
There probably should be. There'll be bathtub ones. We've talked about doing that, but we haven't done one.
I know. This is the origins of the podcast, and it still hasn't happened. We'll do it.
It's true.
Just by the time we get in the bath, we're so tired.
The whole idea of the podcast, that's actually really true. We sit and talk, but like the idea of turning on a microphone and like recording and actually needing to talk kind of takes away from the whole experience of
But that was where it was birthed. Our podcast was birthed in the bathtub.
Guys,
Water birth.
Welcome. Thanks for tuning in to us. We had a really cool experience the last couple of days. Our dear friend Coffey Anderson was in town. He hit me up. If you guys don't know who he is a brilliant man, good man.
Such a good man.
An amazing country artist, very, very talented. And I've been friends with him for a number of years. And he's just a good dude. And he hit me up and he was coming to play a wedding. A guy hired him to play a couple songs for his wife. And I said, dude, come hang out with us. Come stay with us. And he came out and we showed him the town. We went up to Sundance, Utah, which is one of our favorite spots. Took him out to dinner and hung out at the house. And had a good time. Went to the gym with him. But Coffey has... I'm going to let you tell more of the story, babe. But
thanks.
I've known Coffey for a number of years, since before I knew Saxony. And he's always just been a really, really, really good friend. Like we shoot the shit. You know, his story is pretty incredible. His wife is an absolute warrior. She's been battling cancer for a number of years, and anybody who has experienced cancer or lived through cancer or been through cancer, which I have not, other than family members, I'm sure can attest to the severity of it and the amount of emotional and psychological and physical toll it takes on not only, you know, the person battling it, but the family. And it's been incredible to watch.
And they have some real cute kids.
Yeah. It's been incredible to watch he and his beautiful wife battle this. I mean, I don't know how else to say it, but to battle cancer for the last however many years, as long as I've known him. And, you know, they're extremely optimistic people. They're people that they're just fighters. I guess I don't know how else to say it. They're just fighters. They're it's not a crawl up in a ball and surrender to life kind of a deal. I know they both probably have their days that they go down that path, but they're both extraordinarily bright lights and very, very, very inspirational and motivational people to me, obviously to you. And I share that just with a little context because everybody's got a story and everybody's got their own demons and their own past and their own stuff. But they're really, really, really good people. And so naturally I want to hang out with people like that as much as humanly possible. So when friends come to town, we say, hey, you know, let's knock the laundry off the guest bed and have our friends come stay with us. And maybe we straighten up a little bit and clean up the house a little bit so that we don't look like friggin', slobs to our friends. But we have
we have a nice house.
We have a nice house. We do. But we did have to clean up a little bit before Coffey comes and stays with us. But anyways, he spent the weekend with us, and we've had some really cool experiences over the last 2 years with him, year and a half, specifically with regards to our relationship. And I want you want to share a couple of those, babe?
I'd like to start with the reason we're talking about this on a relationships podcast is the importance of having people in your space that are good for your relationship, because it's a matter of, you know, it's like...
Did you just kick me?
Yeah.
Why?
Because I don't want you on your phone.
Not on my phone,
We're having
dear.
a conversation. So the people you have in your space is really important, because you can have, you know, there's people out there that are naysayers. They don't want your relationship to win. They don't want to plug it for when things get hard for you to like see a different perspective and all of that. And Coffey has been a very surprising and very pivotal person in our space through different times, and
an advocate.
An advocate, yes.
You want advocates in your life. You want advocates in your space. People that want you to win. Coffey wants us to win.
Correct. What I love about him, and I've appreciated all along, is that he's truly a man of God. Like, he is such a light to be around, like you mentioned. Like, he believes in the greatness of family, the greatness of marriage, the greatness of people. And there's been these stepping stones along the way, and he's really rooted for us. And he said something the other day when we were at dinner, and he said, you know, Priscilla, who's his wife, he said, we're always rooting for people to win, and with love. And I thought, that's rad, because how many people in your space are really rooting for you to really win with love? You know, because so often we have people in our space that are like, oh, fuck him, he's doing that, or whatever. You know, you hear that, and it's like they'll go on with they'll buy into the drama, because we all have that. We all have like contention and things that come up, and Coffey's just been this consistent light with us. And I'm going to take you back. Gosh, this was when the first time I met Coffey was right before the whole lockdown happened. It was February 2020. Mm-hmm. And we all went up to Park City, and we were supposed to go to the show he was at. He was going to perform, and some other country songwriters were, and this epic night. And they ended up shutting down Park City that night when we went up there.
Wasn't that one of our 2.0 first dates?
Yes, I think this was our 2.0 first date because we reconnected that January, and we started seeing each other in February. And I'm pretty sure it was like that, the first one. And we went up there, and we ended up having this really intimate concert because they couldn't.
They canceled it.
They canceled it, so it ended up being 8 of us, 5 of which were these country songwriters. You know, they wrote for Tim McGraw, Kenny Chesney, Coffey's performing. It was
incredible,
incredible,
the most like magical night where you have these guys who are literally like songwriters for the biggest country stars ever.
Yeah,
and Coffey
and a private performance for Sean and I.
Was going to do a show, and we were the only people there. We were the only
other than the owners of, was it O.P. Rockwell? Is that where we were?
I don't know what it was called, but the owners, we were the only people there. So it was literally these geniuses, these country music geniuses sitting around with their guitars, and Sax and I sitting on this leather couch, like right at their feet, watching them create and listening. And it was like, so-and-so, one of the guys was like, hey, you know, I wrote this song for Tim McGraw, or I wrote this song for Kenny Chesney or whatever. And he would sing the song, and I'm like, holy fuck, dude, this is insane. This is unbelievable. It was a really magical night.
Yeah, the night was magical, and we ended up going to a restaurant up there, and you know, Sean was trying to get Coffey to perform at the restaurant. The manager's like, no, we can't do that. And he's like, no, do you know who this man is? This is Coffey motherfucking Anderson. No. And
he kind of hates that. Real talk.
Like,
I'm sure Coffey's been listening to this. Like, I love my friend. I want to. He's like, dude, he's like, stop, you're making me work. He's like, you're making me work. I'm like, this isn't work. This is your gift. And everybody in this place needs to hear you, bro. And so like every time we go out, I'm like, bro, bring your guitar. It's just a joke now. Bring your guitar. And he's like, I'm not working. I'm just chilling. I'm like, dude, I'm trying to pimp you out. Like, I want these people to hear you.
He's like, you can for $25,000. You pimp me out all day long. So we're at this restaurant, and it was just a good, hearty, wholehearted, good night with good people. And Sean got up and went to the restroom, and Coffey and I were sitting there, and he leans over to me and he goes, you know, you're the kind of woman that Sean needs in his life.
Good to meet you. I'm Sean.
That Sean needs in his life. And I just kind of like snickered, because, you know, this is 2.0. I'd already broke up with him. We'd already gone through some stuff, and I still was like not so sure if we were gonna.
Well, and I'm introducing you as my girlfriend to this guy who's a dear friend of mine, you know, and he'd seen me go through my shit and go through, you know, the last couple of years and the breakup and all this other stuff. And so he kind of knew the game, and, you know, bringing you into the space was like, it's like that with anybody, right? Anybody listening to this, whether you're married or dating or whatever, you bring somebody in, we'll just assume you're dating. You bring this new person into your space, and this is your space. These are your friends. This is your world, your people, right? Yeah. And I feel like a lot of times you see a lot of people that are very judgmental or very critical, that are like, oh, well, they're this or this. And we naturally, as human beings, want to get a read, right? When we're trying to help our friend make the best decision. And what's interesting about this, and I want to say this before you tell the rest of the story, is like, this is a really, really, really big aspect of life, not just relationships and dating. But my circle, quote unquote circle, has gotten smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller the older I get. And there's a reason for that, is a lot of people aren't operating in the same level that I'm operating in. And we now as a couple are not operating at the same level that a lot of other couples are.
Right.
That's not a good or a bad or right or wrong thing. It just means that, like, realistically, energetically, I want people in my space that if I'm bringing somebody new in, they want that person to win. They want to be an advocate to that person. They want to love and appreciate. Like, if I'm bringing someone into my space, it's because I want to. It's because I care about that person. Mm-hmm. And so as you're listening to this, think about this for 2 seconds. A lot of you have family that are just negative, that are just bad, right? Maybe you've been through a divorce and your ex, your family hates your ex, but you have kids with your ex. And it's like, that can't be part of your world. You have to, if you want good energy around your children and this, you have to have people in your corner and on your team that are good, solid people. You know what I'm saying? And so I share that simply because in that space, I'm bringing you into my world with my people, right? And he could have just as easily been like, look, Sean has all this baggage and all this other stuff. Who are you? Tell me about this, and really kind of be that critiquing negative, trying to find holes, trying to find something wrong. And I truly believe that's where a lot of people go. A lot of people want to find the negative. They want to find the wrong. They want to find the bad versus really looking at somebody saying, who are you? Tell me about you. Like, I want to get to know you as a real human being and from a positive perspective. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Anyways.
Well, and I think that light sees light. And,
correct.
And you know, I know my value. I knew at that moment in time what I was bringing to the table when I'm, you know, dating you. And I think that to me, that was really beautiful to hear because I saw the same in Coffey. You know, he is this light. He is this heartfelt, like, good human. And that meant a lot coming from a friend like that. And it also, you know, it's like, you have to remember your friends are a reflection of you. So it's like, if you're bringing people in your space and you're bringing around, you know, immature, emotionally ridiculous, you know, whatever non-lower vibrating kind of experience, like, that's going to be a reflection of you. And that was really cool because I was like, you know,
I got up, went to the bathroom. That's where I cut you off. Go ahead. You didn't finish the story.
I'm still telling the story, dear.
Okay, go ahead.
And so in that moment, him having this conversation with me, it also, you know, gave credibility back to you, you know, because I hadn't met a lot of you people in your space prior to that when we dated before. And it was, I don't know, the whole experience was really great. And so I remember just thinking, like, you know, like, it almost validated. It was like one of those God moments where God was like, see, this is a good space, Sax. Like, see, like, this could be different than how 1.0 was. And also for me, it was just a really cool new angle at looking at us, right? And then, of course, we continued to date. And then the next go round with Coffey.
You didn't tell the whole story about what he said to you.
What else?
When I left, went to the bathroom.
I did. About how I'm the type of woman that Sean needs in his life.
Yeah, but then didn't he start pressing you? He's like, all right, where are you at? That was the next conversation.
That's the rest of my story.
The next conversation.
Okay, so here we go. So at Lions Den Live 2020, which was in June of 2020, Coffey and his beautiful wife came to Sean's event. And I was still actually not with Sean then. But I was at the event, or I wasn't officially with you. I was definitely with you all the time, physically. But we weren't officially together. And yeah, he came to that event, and it was great. So Sean's on stage, and I was basically working the green room. Coffey walks in, and his cute wife, she's curling her hair, and he had everybody leave, and he shut the doors, and he's like, girl, sit down on that cooler. I was like, all right, Coffey's going to talk. He's going to throw down some shit right now. And I sat on this cooler, and he goes, Sax, I need to talk to you about Sean. I'm like, all right, Coffey, let's go. He said, do you love that man? And I said, absolutely. With all my heart, I do. And he said, does he know that? I said, yeah, he knows that. And he goes, well, what are y'all doing then? You just hanging out? You're just floating around? Like, what are you doing? He goes, you two are good for each other. And I'm paraphrasing because I don't have a good enough memory to remember word for word. But he's like, you two are good for each other. He said, a man is the head, but a woman is the neck. You need to put your foot down and say this is what you want and plant your flag. And I kind of looked at him because I'm thinking like, well, I kind of already did that like a couple weeks ago, because this was in that same timeline of when I went all in a couple weeks before that. And that's why at the event, like my heart was with you. And it's probably why I was at the event, because Sean had chosen me, just hadn't told the other people that he chose. I'm making it funny. They found out right after. And it was just a really cool experience, you know, and Priscilla, his wife, was like, yeah, like truly you have to get to a point where the decision has to be made. You have to plant a flag and say, I'm going to do this. And you two are good for each other. So plant your flag and do it. And I just thought, like, here's this guy who has nothing to gain by sitting us down and having this or sitting me down and having this conversation. He has nothing to gain besides to root for us to be together. But he made it a point. And he always brought it back to God, which was really cool, because that's where I vibe, and that's where Sean vibes, and sat us down. And he really was, to me, it was like, that meant so much, because he truly means what he says. He truly meant that, and he truly wants us to win. And that was such a powerful experience for me, because very few people in my space have ever wanted me to truly win in a relationship, have truly been like, you guys are good for each other. And coming from a type of like human being like that really meant a lot, and resonated with me big time. And, you know, I love that people with heart like that, but also with the courage to stand up and say something when something needs to be said, you know, because sometimes we need that encouragement, or we need that push, or we need that like perspective that maybe we were questioning, or, you know, because we have baggage, we have stories, we have fears, we have trust issues, we have all this stuff. And it was just a really cool experience for me.
I think what's rad is, like, I love to compare and contrast, like, what was this experience or that experience, but there's so many people, and I've had experiences where you go out with guys, or you start shooting the shit, and you hear from women all the time, and you have talked about this. The ladies go out, and it's talking about their kids and their house and their this and their marriage, and he does this and she does this and he does this and she does this, and there's just a lot of negativity. And I think what a lot of people do is get into a space where they're with their peers or their friends, and naturally it's like you almost feel like you want to vent, and you want to dump, and you want to go down that space of that path of, like, let me tell you why it is that I am the way that I am, why I'm this and why I'm that. And I've noticed over the years, like, when you have really good people in your space, like, it's not just if you and I are out and I'm one of your girlfriends, I'm like, are you serious? He's like this? Oh my God, I can't believe he would do that, whatever. Having somebody in your space that would be more like, no, dude, like, what are you doing? Like, where are you at? Where are you headed? And that's what I loved about the conversations with Coffey, is it's like him not saying, hey, Sean really likes you, Sean's really here, Sean's really there speaking for me. He's like, no, do you love him? Mm-hmm. Like, where are you at? What are you doing? You know what I'm saying? And it's a radically different reality. And I think that having someone like that is truly, genuinely, he cared about you, mm-hmm. right? Like, and that's what I take away from all of these experiences that we've had with him, is he cared about you. And so I want people to consider that, like, as you're hanging out with other humans, like your guy friends, your girlfriends, whatever it is, like, are they more interested in your drama and your bullshit in your relationship? Are they more interested in all of the hearsay and all this other stuff? Or do they really care about you?
Yeah.
Are they really intrigued by you? Because honestly, if you and I are girlfriends and you're yapping, I don't really care about your husband. I care about you. And I want people in my space who don't necessarily attach to the theatrics and the drama and the hearsay, but they attach to seeing me win. I want to attach to people and help them win as an individual. All of these other things are just stories. All of the rest of this is just an opinion in a lot of ways. How are you doing? Where are you really at? And that's one of the reasons I love Coffey, and he's a special breed of a human being, because he just cuts right to it. Mm-hmm. He gets right to the freaking meat of it, right to the question, right to, do you love him?
Yeah.
Having friends like that is invaluable.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So when we got engaged, immediately were like, Coffey has to sing at our wedding. He has to sing at our wedding. And I called him up and I'm like, Coffey, you got to sing at my wedding. He said, girl, I can't sing at your wedding. I'm going to be in Mexico. And I'm like, okay. He's like, I love you though. And I'm like, I love you too.
I'm like, you don't understand. You need to be at our wedding. He's like, bro, I can't. I got shit. I'm like, son of a bitch.
Right. Yeah. It was beautiful though. And so from our wedding, we ended up FaceTiming him, and the person who was Steven, who did sing at our wedding, he ended up covering Coffey's song while we FaceTimed him. Yeah. And yeah, it was great. Is then we went to $1 Million Mastermind with Ryan Stewman, and when we spoke on stage, and Coffey
was playing.
Coffey popped in and he just sang a couple songs, and he reenacted what we just said. He was like, and she called me. I was like, girl, da 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 da, you know. And he told the whole story about.
Then his bride to be called me, and she's like, my girl, I want you to sing at my wedding. Can you make it? And I said, no, I can't because I have another show, but I'll try. Well, that couple got married without me, but they're here tonight. So for the wedding song that you did not get, I need y'all to come up here. Of course you grabbed her hiney to get her up. To see your face, to hear your voice, know to touch you, it is a dream come true. So I'm standing here with my hand held out, knowing that your love will never fade. I stand amazed without a doubt. I want to hear your voice in the morning when I rise. Think I know I'm just a normal man, only made of sand, except when you're by my side. Will you love me, teach me, don't leave me, pray. When I'm thinking of the times, your hands in mine, together we'll stay. You made me better today than I was before. Now my heart can rest, and I will search no more. You made me better today. My heart is
he was like, and she called me. I was like, girl, da 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 da, you know. And he told the whole story about us wanting him at our wedding, and he ended up putting us on stage and singing our song, and it was so special. He's always made things feel special and bigger than like superficial. Yeah, he's just a good human. It's so important to have people like that in your tribe.
So the moral of the story today is to be more like Coffey.
Yeah.
Be more like Coffey Anderson. If you don't know him, look him up, hit him up. He's on all of the socials. Hire him, get him to come play at your bar mitzvah, your kid's baptism, your kid's birthday, your anniversary, whatever you got going on. Your wedding. Have him come play. I'll say too, this is just a plug for Coffey, I guess. I mean, he's not even here. He's not paying us. He's not doing anything. We just love the fucking guy. Mm-hmm. He is a really, really good performer. And I'm not just talking singing. Mm-hmm. Like when he came to Lions Den Live, man, he's a really, really funny dude. But he's an engaging guy. He's not just let me sing a song, sing a song, sing a song. He's just in when talking to the people and laughing and talking about current events, but making it funny and spinning it all together. And then he sings this beautiful, magical, incredible song, and then he's like back at it, whatever. I'm a big Coffey Anderson fan.
Yeah. So our daughter was on stage, and she's a beautiful singer as well, and at Lions Den Live. And she was kind of nervous, and she was struggling a little bit. And I will never forget this. He goes, "Trust your gifts." And I just thought, just got my heart. Like saying that to our daughter, trust your gift. That's all he said. And you knew that resonated with her so fast. She was like, yep. Yeah. And that's how he lives. He lives with such optimism and such wholeheartedness. And like even hearing him speak about the struggles of he and Priscilla and the health. And it's like, he just does the next best thing, the next right thing, the next kind thing. He's like an eternal optimist, and he's addicting to be around. To be in his presence is such a gift, and I'm just grateful that the world has humans like him.
Mm-hmm. I want to be more like Coffey.
I do too.
More optimistic. Always optimistic.
Much better singer than I am now.
I'm very optimistic about this bed that we have for Gunnar, by the way. And you can't see this, guys, but we remember a couple episodes ago we brought Gunnar in and he was pissing and shitting all over the floors. And he was just biting everything and chewing on everything. Well, our trainer gave him a bed. And he's literally been laying on the bed this entire podcast. And now his head is drooped over the bed. And he looks absolutely hilarious and he's sleeping.
Well, he already pooped in the house, I think, twice today. Maybe once.
That's
so
fantastic.
he's over that.
That's fucking great.
Hopefully for the day.
Well, he hasn't pooped here today, so we're headed in the right direction. Ladies and gentlemen, be more like Coffey. Have more people in your life like Coffey. But honestly, be more like him. Really, be more like him.
Yeah.
Be more attentive, be more caring, be more optimistic to not only yourself, but your friends and their relationships.
And your significant others.
And your significant other and everybody else. Anything else, dear?
No, I'm glad we talked about this. He's good people.
It's really good. Coffey's a good dude.
Keep good people in your space.
Keep great people in your space. Good people, great people. But more importantly, be a good person.
Mm-hmm.
Be a great person. Friends, we love you. Thank you for listening. Please like, please comment, please share as usual. And we'll see you next time.
Okay, bye.